Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the bug with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back. This is episode 765 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good morning on this hot hump day. Mike, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Staying cool. Avoiding the heat best I can.
You know, one thing I got to say I appreciate the heat for is I put a hot glass of water here at the beginning of the show. Keeps my throat nice. It keeps it nice and lubed up, if you will. But Mike, the only reason I like the heat is because by the end of the show, the water's still warm. A lot of times, up until this point in the season, at this point in the year, I get my cup of water, and if I go to get a drink, 45 minutes in, it's kind of cold already. But I got to be honest, this could be the one thing that I do appreciate the most about this hot weather, Mike. My hot water never gets a chance to cool down.
Your hot water. This is breaking news to me. I did not realize that was hot water you had.
It is. My throat gets scratchy.
Yeah.
If I talk for a while and don't keep it lubed. Mm-hmm. And so about, 6 months ago or so, I started keeping a glass of hot water right here with me.
Hot water.
And it softens everything up down your throat, and it allows you to stay. What's the word I'm looking? Why is this word?
Stay loose.
Stay loose.
Stay loose. Did you learn this on your all male acting classes? Your all male videos? This is what they taught you how to do?
It is. A lot of things to go over today, Mike. A lot of things, of course. The big interview yesterday on the Pat McAfee show, of course. The new Steelers quarterback, and his first interview as the Steelers quarterback was yesterday. We'll get into that here shortly. Sticky B, what's up on the board, Sticky B? I always love when Sticky B is here because that's just the best name. Sticky B says, need to throw a tea packet in that hot water, my man.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to stay fresh. I got to keep fresh. If I don't, then I get all scratchy back there, and it becomes I just want to talk. I don't want to have to mate. I don't want to have to perform maintenance during the show.
Well, this is what we have to do, man. We're professionals now. We've been doing this for 700 and some odd episodes. We got to do what the pros do.
Got to do what the pros do. Good morning, team. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It is great to be back. It's good to see Tortilla on the board. Good morning to you, my friend. Always great seeing Tortilla Jackson, Sticky B, 007. Man, I'm seeing some classics today on the board early and often, Mike.
Yes.
We got Sticky B, we got 007, Tortilla already. Good morning, fellas. Great seeing everybody today. A lot of things to go over today. Again, the big interview, if you missed it yesterday on the Pat McAfee show, Aaron Rodgers having his first interview as a Steelers quarterback on the Pat McAfee show. Get into that and so much more. We had issues. We had issues with the power yesterday. The heat actually knocked our power out. We were powerless. Mike, I got to say, at the studio, we don't have incidences with the power when it's raining, when it's storming,
No,
windy, whatever. The power never goes out here. It was just hot, and the power went out. And fortunately, Lonnie Menino, my brother, great seeing you on the board. Stick around, my man. I'd like to talk to you here on the board shortly. I'll get more into Lonnie here in just a second. But there was actually a power. There was a power truck about a block away from the studio.
Yeah.
And I tried to talk Mike into going and talking to the guy. I said, Mike, why don't you go talk to him and ask if, this is all related. This is why the power's out and why you're up there. And Mike dilly-dallied around a little bit. And next thing you know, one of the neighbors we seen walking out, and we allowed him. We allowed him to find out for us. And they were adding, because so much power is being drawn right now from the heat. So we apologized. Yesterday we had a heat outage, and there was nothing we could have did, Mike. There was nothing.
No.
We brainstormed. There was nothing we thought of that we could pull it off. So we apologize, but we're back here on Hump Day. Great to see everybody. Lonnie Menino, man, I got to tell you, everybody on the board, this is a lifelong friend of mine, and I'm very surprised to see him on the board. Actually, we grew up in the same neighborhood, and many of great story with him. Great seeing you on the board, Lonnie. Nice surprise. And again, what a surprise. Thanks a lot, man, for the board. Stick around on the show, man. You can chime in all show. And we got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. So here we go, everybody. John, good morning to you as well. He says it's time to invest in a black and gold generator. Mike can't sweat on his contract.
That was like first line of my contract says Mike cannot sweat ever.
It ruins his beauty. Look at him.
It does too. Although at work today, I was glistening. The dome was glistening.
You ought to be one of them guys that shave their eyebrows too. Boy, would that really make a look for you.
I'm not gonna lie. I was trimming my eyebrows once, and I did with the and
let me do it. I'll shave it. I'll do it perfect.
I'll do it for free.
Do it.
No.
Good morning to Jen. Good morning to Jen on the board. Always great seeing Jen, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back. Again, this is Hump Day. We came off of a powerless day yesterday, guys. The heat took us out of commission, but here we are. We're back, and it's time to talk some sports. Mike, before we do start, I do want to say that we are starting our vacation at the end of this week. So once we do wrap it up on Friday, we won't be back until July 7th, which is roughly 9 days from there. It's a Monday, but vacation will start after Friday's show this week, and we'll be off for a week. So you could join us back when we come back. I believe, again, Mike, I think that's the 7th, correct?
Excuse me. Yes, it is. I'm looking at the calendar now. It is the 7th.
So I just want to keep that out there. Also, we are going to start running a contest. Maybe when we come back, but I want to throw it out there now. Do you have what it takes to be a dumb Yinzer? That's right. We are looking for another wheel. It doesn't have to be full time. It could be, whenever like Derpy. If you want to be full time, you want to be on every day. Perfect. We'd love to have you. But also, it's just a Derpy type role. If anybody is interested and you feel that you're dumb enough to be a dumb Yinzer, we will be kicking off that campaign as soon as we come back from vacation. We'll set up some kind of system to where if you want to, and we get names, and we'll put together some kind of competition or idea or fun things. Like I actually have a couple things in mind, but guys, this will be kicking off after vacation. Looking for another wheel to ride along, guys. So if you do have what it takes to be a dumb Yinzer, keep that in mind. After vacation, we will start this up, Mike, and this is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see who's going to be placed right underneath you. That's a lot of weight to hold up.
That is a lot
underneath your box.
That is a lot of weight under my box. When you first broached this subject to me, I thought I'm being replaced And I was like, it only took him 780 episodes
Well, I wouldn't
to
replace
realize
you.
this guy's dead weight.
I may stick something in front of your face, but I wouldn't replace you. I would maybe
That's
put
fair
some
enough.
kind of a
That
screen or
I
an
can get
AI
that. We
visual.
can, if we get some sponsorship, I will put it in front of my face.
All right. All right.
I'm all for it.
said
You work on this, getting a big time sponsor, and we put it right in front of this moneymaker. And
Hey.
have the new moneymaker.
Say
right
no
there,
more.
guy.
Say no more. John says, I find pencil eyebrows to be scary. Pencil eyebrows they're fucking hideous. I never got that. For the main reason is guys don't give two shits about what your eyebrows look like. I promise you this. And then women always say, well, it's not for the guys. That's what I want. You don't want no fucking eyebrows on your head? And you want to come back with a pen and draw? I mean, come on.
I might do that. I might shave them off and just like draw them on there. Like each day will be a different design.
Jen says her daughter was mad at her sister and shaved off her eyebrows when she slept. That was, I can imagine.
That is
so
fucking
crazy with
hardcore.
these eyebrows.
That is. I might, in honor and solidarity of Ryan Shazier, I might shave the eyebrows.
But you got to shave the whole thing. Your
No.
chin.
I need the beard.
Matter of fact, my friend Lonnie that was on the board, I don't know if he's still on the board. When we were kids, he actually shaved his eyebrow like Vanilla Ice. You remember the lines?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're still here, but you could comment on that. Let's move to John. John says, I can volunteer but can't get paid. I am like the best hooker in Pittsburgh. John, we would welcome it. Again, anybody that's interested, keep it in mind. We will, as I said, we'll roll out the campaign after we come back from vacation. Again, I got some pretty good ideas. I think you guys are going to have a blast. Mark Malone, good morning to you, my friend. He says, I can irritate Mike like no other. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
That's why I like you.
Mike always has one guy. He always has one guy in the group. He's always has one guy that he spars with constantly. And
you have to.
Whenever Brian that used to be on the show left, he's like, oh shit, who do I spar with now? And Mark, you fell into that category. You and Mike had turned into the Tom and Jerry of the show, if you will. Lonnie is remembering shaving his eyebrows. I can tell by the laugh face. Again, great having you here at the show, my man. I haven't talked to Lonnie in quite some time, but again, we grew up. Come on, we spent nights at each other's houses, and he was that friend. So again, always great to see him. Tortilla says DeWanna Bonner has been released by the Indiana Fever. Let me start there and get that out of the way, guys. The Fever were back in action last night. They beat the Storm, Mike. They beat him 94-86. That brings the Fevers record up to 7-7, drops the Storm to 9-6. Clark only managed, I believe, 6 points in this game. I don't know what happened. I didn't see the game, but she managed to get 9 assists and 2 rebounds. Mike, the Indiana Fever will be back at it tomorrow night. But I'd like to find out what happened in this game because that's very, very unlike her with 6 points.
Yeah, she was 0 for 6 from 3 and 3 of 13 from field goal on field goals. She just the past couple games for shooting has just been awful. But like you said, she's picking it up on running the offense. The 9 assists, and then last night what was it, Aaliyah Boston 31 points, Kelsey Mitchell 26, Lexia Hall 15. So able to elevate the others around her, and that's what you want to see. If you can't score, you might as well run that offense because everyone's going to look to you, and it's nice to see everyone else around Caitlin Clark doing their job as well. Because a lot of times you see it's like you look at the stat line, it's just her doing something, or every once in a while Aaliyah Boston picked in, but at least this time Kelsey Mitchell stepped up and Aaliyah Boston stepped up. But yeah, Caitlin Clark past couple games, man, her shooting has been Angel Reese level bad.
Mike, is she a guy?
Who?
Caitlin Clark.
No.
I see the post on Facebook, and somebody circled her Adam's apple.
Oh my God!
And they said Caitlin Clark's a guy, and I don't want to believe it. Tell me, Mike. Tell me. Please tell me it's not true.
No.
She's not a guy, is she?
No, God, no. They have video of her as like a 9-year-old playing basketball against men, schooling them.
Thank you. I just couldn't live right after I seen this. I was like, not my Caitlin. Out of the NWA into the NBA. Mike, Steve Kerr's son, Nick Kerr.
Gotta enunciate that one carefully, my friend.
Steve Kerr's son, Nick Kerr, is joining the Warriors coaching staff. Mike, Nick Gurr is going to be a name that you hear a lot more when you turn on ESPN. Are you prepared to hear Nick Gurr's name on your TV screen?
Oh my God! You know,
Can Nick Gurr
someone.
become a household name, Mike? Could people
pro-
say?
I think a lot of people will.
So there you go, guys.
And you know the guys on the team are fucking with him constantly.
Oh, absolutely.
You're my favorite.
Is it because you're a white guy? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like someone was like roasting Steve Kerr, and they said that about his son. I was like, oh my God, y'all be clowning. I love it.
Nick Gurr, everybody, is the newest addition to the NBA. I think a lot of people are going to have fun with this, and rightfully so. Come on, people. We're just, we're all just here in this maze together. What the fuck? Enjoy yourselves. Have fun. His name is Nick Gurr. How can you not enjoy this?
He probably lost a bet to Jordan, and Jordan got to name his son.
Also, Mike, I'm going to jump into the Pittsburgh Penguins real quick. We have a lot of football. Don't get me wrong, guys. Please stay put. The Steelers out the ass here shortly. Let me get a couple of these other Pittsburgh sports stories out of the way. Real quick, Mike, about the NBA, and then I'm going to wrap up basketball as the season did wrap up just the other day. The NBA season, Game 7 in the finals. They had 16.3 million viewers, which was the most watched NBA game since Game 6 of the finals in 2019. Mike, is this a little bit of hope for the NBA? Of course, I mean, they've been losing popularity over the years. I don't know what it is, but Mike, is this a good sign, or is it just, hey, a lot of people tuned in to watch the Game 7 of the NBA finals that day?
I think a little bit of both. And the way Halliburton was playing too, and the way Indy kept battling back, you couldn't shit talk this series. You actually had to hey, both teams are playing well. This Indy team looks like they're down and out, and they're keep coming back. Halliburton making all these clutch shots. So yeah, lapsed NBA fans are like, all right, shit, I'm gonna check this out. And it just happened to be Game 7. Now can the league carry that forward? And can the people who actually commentate on the league actually talk up the players instead of shitting on them and saying, oh, they wouldn't have been able to do this in the 80s and 90s. Well, yeah, that era's past. Talk about this era. Talk them up. Have people watch more, too. So a lot of stuff needs to change for the NBA, the way they talk about it. Some of the rules need to change. They need to figure something out because, my God, at one point it was close to rivaling the NFL as the sport in America.
Yeah, and Mike, I got to say, though, you get a new guy in the league named Nick Gurr, and the ratings are up at the end of the year. Things are looking good, I got to say. No, I don't know what the hell is going on over the NBA. I could speculate, but I don't know. I don't have an answer. But good for them. They did get high ratings in Game 7 of the NBA Finals, the best ratings since 2019. Again, good for them. The NBA is now in off-season. One more team, Mike, in off-season, which I can't believe – they are only, I forget what it was, of the amount of days till they start. The Penguins are already getting ready to start, believe it or not.
Yeah, they have the draft here on Friday.
The draft is Friday.
September
and then
starts the first.
90 days.
Yeah.
90 days. Hockey just finished. Keep in mind, guys, the Florida Panthers just beat Edmonton last night, it feels like. But they, guys, are back in just 90 days with their spring season schedule. And as Mike was saying, the Penguins did acquire the 12th pick in the 2025 draft, which is coming up here this week, Mike. They have 2 first-round picks and 6 in the top 100. Boy, I just wish that hockey was just a little bit more interesting when it came to draft time because that's a lot of good numbers. Like 2 in the first round, 6 in the top 100. Yeah. Unfortunately, you just don't know who any of these people are.
Exactly. And next year's the year you kind of wanted to get that Rangers first round pick in this range because the Rangers have the option. Next year's draft class is a little bit better, but there's still some really good talent here from the hockey writers I'm reading who know their shit. And they're like, hey, look for a couple handful of names. If they start falling, don't be surprised if Dubas uses picks 11 and 12, moves up to grab someone and get a better quality player instead of 2 players. I much rather prefer sit there, grab 2. You have a better chance of someone making the NHL because, my God, first-round picks in the NHL, they're not slam dunks. They're harder to gauge than just about any other sport, maybe outside of baseball.
But once we do wrap up the draft, Mike, we have 3 preseason games here in Pittsburgh, 4 on the road, starting on September 22nd, where they do play on the road at Montreal. Then they go to Columbus, back home to Detroit, back home for Columbus, away to Detroit, away to Buffalo, and then they wrap it up on the 3rd of October against Buffalo at home. The preseason schedule is out, Mike. Less than 90 days until the Pittsburgh Penguins hit the ice, which is crazy because it felt like we waited months and months and months for football to get here. But hockey does not play around, which means the NBA will not be far behind. So if you are a fan of either one of those two sports, just hang tight. They'll be back before you know it, believe me. Mike, I'm going to dip into the diamond real quick. And then just as I mentioned earlier, we are going to get into a lot of Steelers talk here, guys. Pirates the past 2 days because we were out with the heat yesterday, cutting our power. 2 days ago, the Pirates win in a day that Nikki G goes 5 for 5, Mike. 5 for 5, Nikki G. And then yesterday they lose 9-3, splitting the series so far. Nikki G hits a home run in yesterday's game. Nobody's more hot than Nikki G right now for the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates are 32-49 going into Game 3, which is the rubber match against the Brewers today. It's an early one, 2:10. So if you're going to watch the Pirates, it is here in a couple hours. Mike's series is tied 1-1. After that, they come home to start a 3-game series against the Mets, which I think is pretty cool because on Friday they have a Zambelli drone show. Not the fireworks of Zambelli. It's one of these drone shows, Mike. If anything would make me go, I'd like to go down and see the Mets. And also, this drone show piques my interest. So maybe I might slide down to the stadium this weekend. But if you're going down today, it is Paul Skeens Day. Paul Skeens is coming in with a 4-6 record, a 1.85 ERA, and 106 strikeouts so far this season. O'Neal Cruz removed from the game yesterday, Mike, because he wouldn't run out a double play. His excuse was he says he lost track of the outs and he thought there was 2 outs and he just didn't hustle. So
isn't that your job to know how many outs there are?
I mean, usually when you get paid millions of dollars to play baseball, these are generally the things you know through the course of a game. But this is what O'Neal Cruz did. He got seated, I think rightfully so. The guy got to get his head screwed on right. He's not a jagoff. He's not doing stupid things. He's just doing stupid things on the field. You know what I mean? It isn't like he's causing trouble. There's no issues. It's just those the fundamentals on the field is what he's not doing well at this time. Yeah. And that's, putting his ass in some heat. Because, again, Mike, he was a shortstop. Got put in the outfield for his defense. Now he's being pulled out of the outfield for his defense. At what point? What are you going to do with the guy? Stick him at first base? I have no other explanation.
No, just make him DH. Sorry, Kutch, you're going back out to the outfield. We need you to be our best hitter and probably our best fielder. Couple this into what O'Neal Cruz the other day giving up on the play in the outfield. Yeah, and it's like fans want to sign this guy every time he breaks a StatCast record. Sign him to a $200 million contract. Look at this, look at that. Like, put the total package. That's we gave Brian Reynolds a shit ton of money, and look at him. He does nothing. So you want 2 guys on this roster getting paid a lot of money.
He's back from maternity leave. That's
hey, at least we got that going for us. But you're gonna have 2 guys making all this money, not doing anything. You're gonna complain when the owner doesn't spend money, and every time he does spend money, it's always on players who underperform. So he's not gonna want to give out more money.
Mike, last note on this Pittsburgh Pirates team. Nikki G going 5 for 5 is one of the only 4 Pirates to go 5 for 5 in the last 50 years in their first 150 games played. Mike, the other ones being Key Brian Hayes, Neil Walker, and John Wiener. That's right, John Wiener. The other guy. 4 guys went 5 for 5 in their first 150 games in the Pirates' last 50 seasons is how that is, Mike. So congrats to him. He's looking good out there. Somebody's got to play some good baseball. But again, Paul Skeens today, 2-10, a 2-10 start. And then they wrap it up. They'll be off tomorrow and then come home to play the Mets for the weekend. So get ready for that. Mike, let's jump on the board, and then we will get into some Steelers.
Yes.
I'm going to go right here. Okay, Lonnie says the one arrested in Russia is definitely a dude. Brittany Griner. Yeah. You know what the sad part is? I had a thing for her.
You love her.
I had this big thing for her when she was locked up. I was the biggest supporter of Brittany Griner. Yeah. Tortilla, you got to have some big balls to play in the WNBA. That's right. John says, my go-to podcast for Steelers out the ass. That's right, baby. If that isn't, Mike, that isn't our tagline. That should be our tagline.
Out the ass.
Out the ass. Tortilla, he says, it's just game 7. The way the league is going with its referees will hurt the league. I've been hearing this about referees. And you know what? I'm not going to be surprised. It doesn't surprise me that the NBA has having officiating issues. Mike, also Tortilla follows it up by saying hockey players can't go another 90 days without punching each other.
This is true. Scientifically proven.
Sticky B. I wish Sticky B would just keep would comment a lot more because I like saying Sticky B. Sticky B says Nikki G is on fire.
One of the few buckos I really like. I like Nikki G.
And one of the few buckos whose names rhymes with Sticky B. Tortilla
Maybe
says,
they're one and the same.
It may be. Tortilla says make Cruz the mascot. He seems pretty good at making a fool of himself. What is
he ended up walking away from the kids.
As he leads the National League in stolen bases and has a shit
I know,
ton of
right?
home runs. I mean, the thing is, the guy's not a jagoff. He's not.
No, it's just
a bit
a
of a
$1 million talent, 10-cent head. He's, Jeff George.
Feel the steel. What's up, baby?
What up, brother?
He said, what up, all you crazy Yinzers? Just wanted to say, feel the steel to boom. That's right, man. Nice to see you, feel the steel. We are coming. We're less than a month till camp, baby. Won't be long now till the guys will start piling into Latrobe. Feel the steel. Always a lot of fun during football, for sure. John says Ryan will admit on his deathbed that his only regret was not getting the maternity leave. I got to get some kind of compensation out of this whole thing. That's all I got to say. Everybody's getting compensated. Brian Reynolds, who has no reason to be compensated, the guy's a million, gazillionaire, whatever these guys make. And I'm sure they paid him. Guys, let's get into football. One more thing, Mike. The Savannah Bananas,
Yes.
the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball.
Yes.
They sold out PNC Park twice in an hour's time. So when the Savannah Bananas come to Pittsburgh, they're going to have a packed house twice.
At least someone's selling.
Pirates are.
I would say at least someone's selling out the stadium. They might actually be some better baseball, even with their weird rules. Be more entertaining than a Bucko game. Maybe Paul Skeens can go pitch for the Savannah Bananas and he'll get a fucking win.
Like this baseball talk is really making me tired. All right, the big story, guys. There was a big interview yesterday. That's right, the Aaron Rodgers first interview as a Pittsburgh Steeler quarterback. It was on the PMS show yesterday. And Aaron Rodgers, it was basically what you would think it was. He didn't say anything that was really surprising. He didn't say anything that we didn't really know, for that matter, Mike. Some of the quotes that he did say were talking about Aaron Rodgers in his interview yesterday. Aaron Rodgers says he's pretty sure, quote, this will be his last season. He says, and then he will retreat and disappear. I think I like him. I'm having a hard time admitting it, but he's really similar to me in just the way that he is. Maybe I should like him. I don't know. I just don't get him.
You guys are two peas in a pod.
We're two peas in a pod.
You guys are. And you know what? I have no problem with him saying, hey, this is it for me. This is my ride off into the sunset. I have no problem with that.
I bet you I'm going to love him by the end of the season. I just got this feeling because I'm such a hater.
Yeah.
And I was so hard on him and, the process of him getting here. I bet you I have an Aaron Rodgers jersey by the end of the year.
You will.
What else did he say? Talking about the Steelers' first practice with the Pittsburgh Steelers, of course, at camp the other week. Quote, calling it weird, but not in a bad way, because he called it. He said it was weird, which is understandable. You don't know any of the people, and as he said in the interview, guys don't have names on their jerseys yet. So I mean, you're going by just what's your person you met 5 seconds ago, and now you got to remember.
Yep.
And there's 100 freaking people out there, so that was something that was quoted in his interview. He also says, I enjoyed being in Pittsburgh. What else did he say, Mike? He did say he had conversations with Mike Tomlin every single day, which we knew. We talked about this on the show. And he mentioned, Mike, that is right at the top of the reasons for signing with the Steelers, which is that I don't like that. I don't like that. Because everyone that ever says they come here because of Coach Tomlin, it ends up not working out. But again, you know what you're getting with Rodgers.
Yeah.
It's a 1 year. But Mike, as I said, a lot of times guys come here and they're too overexcited by Mike Tomlin. For whatever reason, it doesn't work. I don't know. I just don't understand what that is. But that was another thing that was quoted by Aaron. And anything else of importance, Mike. And here's one note that I found that was interesting. Anybody else on the board have anything from the interview that they thought was interesting? I didn't think it was interesting. Matter of fact, I thought AR looked like AI when Aaron Rodgers
He
was
did
talking.
look fake on there, yeah.
I thought I was watching AI. I really did. And but one thing that I found interesting was this: is he was talking. Somebody was talking about Kaboli was sneaking around the locker room, keeping tabs on Aaron Rodgers. And if you've seen Kaboli,
You ain't no sneaking.
there's no sneaking.
No.
I can,
Be like saying Mike tried to sneak around the studio.
I just picture like, you know, the cartoons where they're behind like a bush and they're walking and they're moving the bush in front of them. I could just see something in big, you know, like a big ice machine moving across the locker room floor, and there's Kaboli behind it, sneaking around. But of all the things that were said by Aaron Rodgers, Mike, that was what caught my attention the most, was Matt Kaboli sneaking around at camp. I have to see this. I have to see. I don't want to see what the football players did. I want to see that.
Yeah, right. That give me Mark Kaboli in the Steelers locker room videos before the training camp starts. He tied me over to see what that buffoon's doing.
Sneaking around.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen this guy, dude, take a moment, please.
Yeah, he ain't sneaking nowhere. He's like me sneaking to catering.
Right. Yeah. Mike, let's grab a couple of these messages before we do move on. I don't want to get caught up. I don't want to get behind. I'm sorry. Yeah. All right here. Feel the Steel. Sunday, the Yanks versus Costa Rica, 7:00. I think that's soccer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is.
When the Yanks go marching in. I hope it's better than it was against Triago or whatever the hell that country was. But that's Sunday, Costa Rica and USA. John says, "Why is Rodgers talking about retirement? Time to talk about no real investment." 007, Steelers need to be strategic on making sure we have a quarterback in place next year, or we'll be back in the same situation we were before Rodgers signed. I'm going to get into that too, because Mike, I'm kind of questioning that myself. Is Will Howard going to kind of fall into the role, being he's backing up and he's on this team with Aaron and he's here a season, or is the big play still going to be the draft right here in Pittsburgh next spring? So we'll get into that shortly.
Mm-hmm.
Jen says, no, not Ryan turning to the dark side. Never. Feel the Steel says a head coach will change that process. And Tortilla says Matt Kaboli and cheese. I like it. Matter of fact, I like it more than you even know. Believe me. Matt Kaboli and cheese. Let's see, what else did Aaron say? Aaron did say that DK Metcalf is a lead by example guy, which was also a big reason why he's here. He also then went on to say that he managed to visit Mike Tomlin and Cam Hayward's house for barbecues, Mike, when he was here for that first week.
Yeah.
I can imagine a Cam Hayward barbecue, man, huh?
I bet Cam has some pretty good barbecue.
I bet you Cam's food is gone before you can even get your hand on it. I just do.
Yeah, Cam looks like that guy. He's eating a lot.
I mean, you're risking, you're risking digits if you're trying to get it.
Eating around Cam would probably like eating around me. It's going to be, like an exhibit at the zoo.
And he also did say, Mike, that he was enjoying working with Will Howard, and so that's going to be very interesting, Mike. I think that changes the whole story with Howard moving forward. John says Will Howard. And then also Vegas, what's up, brother? Always great seeing Vegas. TJG on the board, my man. Guys, let's see. Also, one other thing, Mike, that I did see that Aaron Rodgers said. Of course, I'm looking for all the quotes that people might be talking about. He was talking about when he played for Mike McCarthy, and hearing McCarthy call plays at 100 miles an hour with his Yinzer accent. I thought that was kind of funny. I think he's going to be fun. My thing is this, Mike. What season does this have to be for the Steelers with Aaron Rodgers in his last season?
Mm-hmm.
I have two theories. One, Vegas, the way that, again, I don't want to say shady shit's been going on in the NFL since they jumped into bed with Vegas. Not the guy on the board, the city and the
Yeah.
And things have just been going certain ways for certain teams. So I'm wondering, maybe with Aaron Rodgers, maybe if we'll get a little bit of that payout from Vegas, where some of these other teams have been seeming to be getting a little bit of help at the end of games, during the season, in the playoffs. Mike, maybe, just maybe, we could take advantage of the people with money wanting to see the Steelers win now that Aaron Rodgers are the same way that you feel about other teams around the league. Or it could go this way. It could be an Aaron Rodgers riding off in the sunset kind of season, to where, like when Brady went to Tampa Bay and won a Super Bowl, when Peyton Manning went to Denver and eventually won a Super Bowl. Maybe the league, again, I believe they go out there and they play and there's no cheating and nobody, but listen, maybe the league wants to see this as a storyline play out, because these other great quarterbacks from that era, it's been happening for them. So maybe those two theories, Mike, both up the conspiracy theory aisle.
Yeah.
But maybe we might just get a great season out of this just because Aaron Rodgers is here. Not even because he's going to be such a great football player.
Yeah.
But that is another thing he did say. He is going to leave it all out on the table, Mike. He's going to drain the bank. I think he said something along these lines, playing for the Steelers. Maybe this is going to be a great Steelers season after all. Maybe we won't be disappointed. Maybe this Aaron Rodgers thing could be one of the better things that we could have as Steeler fans, especially at this point. Mike, what do you think?
Let's see. Well, like I've been saying, this is a team that has made the playoffs the past 2 years with maybe average to above average quarterback play, or maybe even like mediocre quarterback play to average quarterback play. You get someone who can give you maybe above average quarterback play. Defense will have, more rest, the offense scoring a little bit more points. This could be a team that, does a little something in the playoffs. And by that, I mean, make it out of the wild card round, make it into the divisional round and have a competitive game in the divisional round. For me, that would be a success, because yes, every year you want your team to win the championship, but you have to be realistic. They are still building a roster to get back to that level. And, Aaron Rodgers, yes, is another stop-back quarterback. That's what happens when you whiff on a first-round quarterback. And that's why, taking Will Howard in the 6th round, bringing in Aaron Rodgers, someone who has no problem mentoring quarterbacks. A lot of people liked the potential Will Howard has. Okay, maybe Aaron can help him, find that within himself, show him how to be a pro, teach him those little things that, most quarterback coaches don't know, because they're not a 4-time MVP. They see a game at a different level. That will help there. But remember, it does not preclude the Steelers from drafting a quarterback next year. The team's traded up for Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. So you can finish, drafting in the 20s and go and get your guy. They have 12, 13 picks next year. So it's not going to limit what they're going to do in the future. So I saw a lot of former players that in the media who are supposed to know what they're talking about, going, "Oh, this makes no sense. Now you can't get a quarterback." Do you watch the league? Do you realize how teams operate? You can go get your guy. Omar Khan, we don't are aggressive. So for me, a successful season is making it to the divisional round. I don't think we're going to make it to the championship.
You don't think we have one more win in us? You don't think that the team that you believe could get the divisional round could have one more win in them, Mike? And of course, that's going to be against a pretty good team. So it's going to be a Baltimore. It's going to be a Kansas City. It's going to be a Buffalo. Do we have it in us, Mike, to pull off a big win?
Right now, looking at the team, I don't think so. But, I want to see how the season unfolds, how all the other teams' seasons unfold as well, injuries throughout, going on. And, we saw the year the Steelers won their first Super Bowl with Ben. A lot of luck happened. So it can happen again with this team. It happened to the Giants when they won theirs with Eli Manning. So anything can happen. Right now, I'm just, I want this team to make the playoffs. That's a bare minimum. They have to make the playoffs. They did it the past 2 years. You have to keep that trend going. You have to win that wild card round. Then anything after that, to me, is gravy. That is this team's a little bit ahead of schedule. Since we didn't get a rookie quarterback this year, now we are ahead of schedule. There's no real marquee quarterback to put us over the hump unless you count Sam Darnold, that guy. I don't. So, yeah, for me, a wild card win and making it to the divisional round, unless they give up 40 points in the divisional round, then it will be a slight disappointment for me.
Mike, speaking of which, the Steelers last season 8-0. 8-0 when allowing 18 points or fewer. The Steelers last season were 2-8 when they allowed 19 points or more. So, Mike, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. You got to keep these teams. The thing is, you have the highest paid defense in the league by far. We went over the numbers yesterday. You've seen the space between them and the next team. It's a huge margin. So that defense has to bring it. But, Mike, you know what? I think they will play better this year because they have a quarterback. They have somebody on the other side of the ball who's not going to come off the field, hopefully, after 3 plays every given series.
Exactly.
That, again, I always say a great defense is because of a good offense. And maybe this year, Mike, we can benefit from that a little bit. And that would be such a big change because, again, those are the things throughout the course of the end of the season, into the playoffs. We just let up a lot of points. Against Philadelphia, against Kansas City, the whole way down. Kansas City hadn't scored 31 points all season, and then they did it. So, we just have to figure out a way to use our highest paid defense to win more football games. And I think with the offense, Mike, putting up more points, hopefully.
Yeah.
Again, the division's a little tougher than it was in New York, but in theory, this should be better with our quarterback situation. Mike, also a couple other things here about Mr. Rodgers. Kyle Van Noy from the Baltimore Ravens. Did anybody see this? Carl Van Noy is holding a grudge since he never got to sack Aaron Rodgers, Mike. He said he's coming for him. He's coming for Rodgers.
Him and Myles Garrett coming for Aaron Rodgers. And, Van Noy with Baltimore, I like it. That adds more fuel to the fire for that rivalry. I like it, man. That's why sports is fun. Shit like that. I love hearing the other guys in the division going, "Oh yeah, we're coming for you. You're going to get my best effort. I want."
And in this division, I want you to
it. Yeah. And like Van Noy takes that seriously. Myles Garrett takes his graveyard seriously. These guys want to do it, and that's why I love sports. That competitive fire that these guys have. And Aaron Rodgers is going to be like, "Come get me. Let's do this."
Go sports.
I like it. Go sports. Go sports ball. I'm a sports ball fan. You know what I mean? It's like
sports ball.
Yeah, like you hear stuff like that as a sports fan. I can't wait for football season. I want to see. All right, who's lining up? Who's Van Noy lining up over against? Is he gonna go up against Fatano? Is he gonna go up against Broderick? That those battles leading to can he get to the quarterback? I fucking love that shit. I can't wait. I want it to happen now.
One more thing, Mike, since I am talking about the Ravens, before I throw up in my mouth, let me get it all out here. Deontay Johnson, of course, not with the Ravens anymore.
I love it.
But while with the Ravens, remember last season when he refused to go in? Listen to this. If you haven't heard this, please sit down. Guys, Deontay Johnson, of course, the former Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver that we all love so much. You remember the guy that ran backwards, the guy that forgot how to catch, the guy that forgot how to get any touchdowns in a whole season. Yeah, that's the Deontay. Deontay Johnson, guys, he said that he didn't enter that game in Baltimore last season because his body was ice cold. End quote, Mike. Quote, his body was ice cold. It was 41 degrees in that particular game. He said his body was ice cold. He didn't want to go out and put out bad film.
Yeah.
What kind of thought process is that?
Right. Yeah. Okay. So you've been sitting down all game. Your muscles are getting, cold. You're not warmed up. I don't know. Maybe get up, jog around on the sideline, stretch.
He didn't want to put out bad film, so he didn't go into the game.
Like Deontay,
because his body was freezing at 41 degrees.
We saw what you did with Carolina, buddy. The bad film's out there. We saw what you did with Baltimore before that game. The bad film's out there, bro. You're very much removed from your 3 good seasons with Big Ben as quarterback. The bad film's starting to outweigh the good film.
Best thing he could have did was go out on the football field just to have film on the field, Mike. The guy he's a bum. He's not playing anywhere. He was in Houston. He was in Baltimore. He was everywhere.
Now he's where he belongs.
Even if there was just film of him standing on the field, it's better than what he did, Mike. He didn't want to put out bad film because his body was ice cold from being in 41-degree weather. That's why he refused. That doesn't sound like a guy who has heart for the game to me. Piss on him. Again, he's where he belongs, Mike, in Cleveland. Where all the shit settles. Let's get caught up on the board. I'm going to start right here. I'm going to go right. I'm going to start with Vegas. Vegas says the NFL hated us, but now every other commercial has something to do with betting. Tortilla says, "No, I'm trying to see some flags go our way for once in 15." I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Give us some of that. Whatever the Chiefs and the Eagles been riding off of.
Right? I was all that dark juju magic.
How about Sticky B? Sticky B says, plus its second Super Bowl win for Rodgers would be a nice cherry on top of a great career. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe this could play to our advantage, guys. On top of having a little bit better of a quarterback this year, a 4-time MVP. Granted, he's old.
Yeah.
But Mike, walking off into the sunset could very well be a big moneymaker for the Steelers or for the NFL in general. And then also, Mike, again, the referees. I don't know what's going on, but maybe one day AI will fix that to make sure games are called fairly. But again, Mike, maybe some of these things play out in our favor for once.
I would like it. Maybe the refs would let Joey Porter and the receivers fight fairly. Let receivers mug him and him put a pinky on him and get a 15-yard penalty. That would be awesome.
Mike, I just got to say this. Say what you want about JPJ, but in 33 games played, he only let up one touchdown.
Yeah.
He let up one touchdown. Come on, this guy had he let up none last season in 2024.
Yeah, and completion rate as a rookie was 47%.
47.6, yes.
Yeah. So all the trade hallmarks are there of him being a lockdown, shutdown corner.
I'm not worried about JPZ Jr. at all.
No, I'm not either. It's just how the refs get. You get that reputation. No matter what you do, they're going to look for that flag.
I've come to accept that he's going to be he's going to be like Taylor. He has no hands, but I'm fine with that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm fine with that. Let's see. Vegas says the Steelers would be the Super Bowl favorites if 30 guys all of a sudden retired.
That's what the Vegas odds are saying too, man.
Yeah.
It's not pretty.
Sticky B says with Caleb pounding the rock this year and another year for this young O-line to gel, I think Rodgers shocks a lot. I hope you're right, man. This could be a lot of fun for us. Let's just keep our fingers crossed and hope nothing stupid happens because this has potential. Again, guys, the quarterback play was less than desirable for the past 3 or 4 years, but like Mike says, we managed to get into the playoffs and, in a tough division. And, I don't think we're going to get peak Aaron Rodgers, but if you could get, a pretty damn good Aaron Rodgers, and he says he's emptying the tank. He's going to put it all out there for the Steelers. And I like that. I like the way that sounds.
Yeah. If he does go out there, knows it is his last hurrah and wants to go out there and, wash away the bad memories of his last 2 years in New York and gives everything he got. I'm all for it. Let's ride, see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? We go 5-12 when we're picking 5th overall. Oh, the horror. We'd definitely get our quarterback then.
Sticky says the Jets are trash pandas. What are I talking about? Selling your soul. 1969 was the only time the Jets were ever. Come on. And they weren't even supposed to win that Super Bowl. So please, if you're trying to tell me they didn't sell their soul, start over with another story. Vegas has got to love those minor league baseball team names. Sticky says luck is when skill meets opportunity. I like that. Lonnie, my man, he says faith of the fans means more than you ever know. If you believe, they will achieve. You know what though? What about the Pirates? I've been believing in them for
I know, right?
Tortilla, we believed in Kenny Pickett. We achieved interceptions. And at the end of the day, Kenny wasn't the worst. Believe me, he wasn't the worst possible situation. He like a lot of these other guys managed to have winning records at the end of their time.
He would suck for 3.5 quarters.
And then he'd bring you back to win.
Right?
Every week.
That's what was so frustrating about him. It was he would find a way to win and dude, can you do this all game? That would be, I'd like you if, as a Penn State fan, if you do that for me. I'll take back everything bad I ever said about you.
Like every one of these quarterbacks, with the exception of Mitch Trubisky, all left Pittsburgh with a above 500 record.
How bad do you have to be?
And that's what I'm saying. You get a decent quarterback.
And they had all had shitty stats too.
Let's see. Vegas says Aaron should show up in a tan cardigan. Sticky says limit to 3 and outs and keep D fresh longer in the game. Maybe then we won't give up so many. And I think that's key. Defense can't be out there all game, and they can't expect to win every game for you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just you're putting yourself in a bad position. Vegas also says, let's see, gave up the most first quarter points while scoring damn near the least. That's the problem, of course.
Uh-huh. But somehow made the playoffs. That's what the funny thing is. Like, you see all these negative stats, and like, how the hell did we pull this shit
Because
off?
we're the Yankees.
We just find a way.
Our franchise is just generally good.
It's
I
because
mean,
you
say
have
what you will.
guys who they know how to draft people who have, like, outside of like people like Deontay Johnson, but you have guys that will find a way to win.
We generally win a lot of football games. Are
Yeah.
we generally really good? Are we generally Super Bowl? We
No.
win. We're one of the better franchises, no two ways around it, in the NFL. And Mike, even look at other people that you would say would have been neck and neck with us, New England. Look at them; they dropped for a few years. Even when we're
Yeah.
rebounding, we're still finding ways to win a lot of football games.
Like, since 2020, we're in second place for the most regular season wins. We got
That's
two
what I'm
Super Bowl
saying.
titles. Like, we're up there with obviously the Patriots, Green Bay, Baltimore, and Philly. There's 8, 10, 13 Super Bowls out of the last 25 in that. On those 5 teams, no one has less than 242 wins. We're one of those franchises, like you said, the Yankees. You find ways to win regular season games. It's just, can we get back
And
into
is
the
the Yankees
championship
winning
run?
the World Series every year? No, they don't. The
But
fact of the matter is, they have the most.
Yeah.
I think they've won it once since 2001.
Yeah.
But they win a lot of baseball. That we are the Yankees in football.
It just sucks because you see the regular season success, and we can do the postseason success. It just hasn't been there, and it's frustrating.
Steeler fans and Yankee fans are very similar. They don't realize and they don't want to admit it, but believe me, those two fan bases are very similar. Tortilla says Myles Garrett versus Mason Rudolph 2.0. Man, that's going to definitely make some headlines going into the game. Highly doubt we'll see anything as crazy as Mason gets smashed over the head again, but definitely big headlines.
Not with Broderick Jones out there now. He knows. Broderick knows.
Tortilla, if Rodgers goes down before a Browns game, I'm not worried. In fact, I embrace it. Vegas, the Calgary Stampeders need a wide receiver.
Deontay might not even make it in the CFL.
Yinzer Joe, what's up, brother? Yinzer Joe says, sorry I'm late, guys. I'm trying to wipe off the hell sweat. Man, is it something out there?
It's disgusting.
Always great to see Yinzer Joe, my man. Vegas E stands for enough, not empty. Follows that up by 13 touchdowns in 25 games. Thanks to TJ. Well, it is hot, isn't it, man? This heat is
dying.
Jeez, oh man. And today's supposed to be the coolest day of the week at 89. But again, Mike, with humidity, that's about 100. So
yeah, and like speaking of humidity, at least here in the Berg, we got rain coming up the next 3 days.
Yeah,
so
I'm looking forward to the rain.
It's going to be even the worst.
Lonnie, my man, he says most believe their team will fail, and that's a problem with Pittsburgh. We always believe that we're just going to win. John says the Steelers have to find a way to beat tier 1 teams in regular season. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? We got Buffalo this year. We got the Vikings. We got Detroit.
Yeah.
So I mean, we got some tier 1 teams.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, but they find ways. But can they consistently do it against those teams?
Tortilla says 1 year we get a 100-yard pick 6 in the Super Bowl. Another year Tim Tebow throws an 80-yard touchdown to beat us in the wild card. Yeah. The life of a Steeler fan, man.
I know, like, why did you have to bring up that Tebow game? I finally got it out of my system.
Mike, Aaron Rodgers will work out in Malibu with fellow Steeler players. That is something that he did mention yesterday as well. I'm looking forward to it, Mike. And you know, I dragged my feet into this whole Aaron Rodgers thing, and I was somewhat skeptical that it was even going to happen. And here we are, man. We have a quarterback, and he's not a bad quarterback. And I'm really talking myself into this could possibly be a good season. And with an older QB, a couple of things could happen. What happened in New York Jets season number 1 is certainly a possibility. Yep. Getting injured. He's an older player getting injured and being out for a very long time, if not the whole season. So, those kind of things worry me. But all in all, having somebody with 4 MVPs, a Super Bowl ring, almost all the records. Of course, he will be passing Ben in his Steeler uniform, which is kind of makes me sick to my stomach. But Mike, somebody that could walk up to that line and recognize things the way that these top tier quarterbacks, even if he is going to be 42 years old, that stands for a lot, because you've seen what guys that step up to the line who don't quite know what they're looking for looks like over the past 4 or 5 years here in Pittsburgh. Having a guy that knows, I think, is going to play a big advantage, Mike, and that is why I think our season is going to be significantly better than it has been, because he sees things that a lot of other people don't see, that they're not experienced enough yet to see. Mike, this guy has been there. He's done, whether he remembers any of it after the ayahuasca trips or not.
That's true.
But the fact of the matter is, this is going to be the first time we've had this mind, or this kind of mind, since Ben left.
Yeah. And you hope that the mental aspect of the game can make up for the diminished physical skills that he has, to hopefully he can still process the game at the high level and throw with anticipation, because arm strength isn't what it once was. But if he can still do that, the offense should be firing on some pretty good cylinders, hopefully on all of them. But I just want to see how, is his body going to be able to hold up this year? It did last year coming back from the injury, but, was that his last hurrah? And now the body's going to fall apart again on him. That's one of the things I'm worried about. But fuck it, roll out there. Worst case scenario, like I said, we finish 5-12, or we're in position to get a franchise guy without trading any other picks. So it's a win-win this year for me. This team.
If we finish worse than we have been, Mike, I'll be very surprised. And I also do believe this as well. This has to be an injury-free season. We cannot get the injury bug again, Mike. We can't afford any of our young studs to be out for the whole entire season. It's just got to be that year for us for once. I don't know how we fell into the trap. We used to be a team that used to be able to get through damn near every season unscathed as far as injuries. Mike, the past 4 or 5 years, I can't remember a year that we didn't have a guy out for the duration of the season. I'd like to avoid that in its entirety. And if you do lose somebody, maybe like the guy Parham or whatever, we lost him early. I don't want to lose any more. As long as we could stay healthy from this point until January, I'm going to be happy. It's the NFL. I know it's not going to happen, but if you could keep it to a minimum, like some of the other teams in the league have been able to do, that plays that much more even into it as well, Mike.
Yeah, and no disrespect to like Farnham and those guys. Like, if I'm getting injuries, I want them down the depth chart. I don't want my high end guys getting the injury bugs this year. We can stand to lose some depth here and there. Sorry guys, but you got to take one for the team this year. You guys got to be the one to get hurt, not a Fatana, not a Roman Wilson, not a TJ Watt, not a Alex Highsmith. And I think that's falling under the radar too, is the availability of both Smith and Watt. They both have to be there every single game, because the defense is going to flow through those two.
Mike, the big story, not such a big story, but there's a story that I certainly see it's popping up on X, and I have it to talk to about it in a little bit here.
Yeah,
it's about George Pickens ditching out on his camp here. I'll get to that in just a moment. I see that it's again, X keeps popping up my face, so people are talking. We're going to get into it just a second, Mike. I want to get caught up on the board before we do so, because I don't want to get behind. I'm going to go right here where Vegas says MLB contracts are crazy. John says Mike is melting like provolone on his permani sandwich.
Wasting away over here, man.
Vegas says it's funny to hear tier 1 teams, Vikings, and you ain't kidding,
right? I thought I would never hear Detroit
especially
as a tier 1 team. Yeah, like the Vikings. Okay, they've done it in the past. Detroit never.
They do about once every 20 seasons. Minnesota, they put this really good team together, and then they screw up again, losing all them Super Bowls in the early days. 98, screwing up a 15-1 season.
Gary Anderson.
It's time for Minnesota to screw up again, so it doesn't surprise me. Excuse me, sorry. Jen says it was 100 degrees here last week. Today is 6. Oh, I would love a nice 63 day just to get the inside of the core temperature of the studio to cool down.
Right.
It's not giving its chance to to come back to normal temp. It just gets hot again after it cools down. Tortilla, I can't even pray without thinking about Tim Tebow.
That is a great comment.
That's up there. Jamal, what's up, Jamal McCollum? Always great to see Jamal on the board. Jamal says, I don't feel like we planned on winning a Super Bowl by getting rid of George Pickens. I'm still pissed about that. It was an interesting move. Providing we hadn't done all the other things in the offseason, George still maybe. I don't know. It was peculiar. The whole situation with George Pickens, like how far was he off? How far was things going in the locker room for this to be the action? Again, Tomlin, and he's been somewhat easy on his players over the years. So I'm just wondering if this was to set an example, or he was just that out of it, if things were just that bad. Sticky B says just having a year of Rodgers to mentor the other QBs is worth the risk of having a 41-year-old QB. Certainly can't hurt, man. Yinzer Joe, if we happen to pick up a wide receiver and a cornerback, I'd feel a lot better to possibly a playoff run to the Super Bowl. Man, me too. Mike, if we could fill those two spots the way that we want to fill them, I'd feel really good about this team. I know that Jalen Ramsey, we're still listening to inquiries about him, Mike. I know that the Chargers and the Rams are the most likely position, but we're not out of the question. Let's just say you could bring him in as a third cornerback and maybe grab an Amari Cooper or one of these other guys at wide receiver. Mike, you feel a little bit better about this team getting to the AFC Championship if you add those two pieces?
Oh, yeah, a whole hell of a lot better. Even if it like Amari Cooper and Jalen Ramsey, I'd be like all over this team to like, okay, my expectations are now raised. Now you might have to, at that point, make it to the championship game if you're adding those pieces right there.
John says the O-line has to give Rodgers time. If not, he'll release faster than I did on prom night. I just saw this. I'm like, I don't know if I really want to get into that.
Okay.
It was a meme. This guy, I don't know. I guess I got time. It was just a stupid meme. The guy was like, did you ever? He was like, I nutted so fast, I had to tell the girl her stuff stunk. And that's why I couldn't keep going. He goes, she left crying.
God damn, that's brutal.
I thought that's keep that in your back pocket. You never know when you might need that.
I always go, baby, it's just so good. I couldn't control myself.
I usually just cry myself to sleep, but
well, that's just every day for you.
Vegas, if you had to sign one wide receiver and cornerback before the season, who would it be? Listen, I'm high on these bigger names right now. I would love to bring in Jalen Ramsey, and I would love to bring in I like Amari Cooper. I think that he could do good on this particular team. I think he could really excel, Mike, when he was in Cleveland, and then
he did really well in Cleveland.
He did, but you put a perfect situation for him where he could come in as that receiver, Mike. I think he'll excel. I can't see how he would not be successful with Aaron Rodgers being the guy throwing to him, providing Aaron can still do Aaron things.
Yeah, and then you have DK next to him. Then you factor in the other receivers. Then the tight end group that can take people away from him. I would like the Amari Cooper signing. I would like that a whole hell of a lot.
So Jalen Ramsey and Amari Cooper is my wish list at this point. Two veterans, two guys that you could just kind of put in, and these are the guys that really excel. Like if you could just put them into a place, they can do what they do. You don't have to worry about anything else. There's no rebuilding with these guys. They're just out there to win football games this year.
Mm-hmm. And a forgotten name, like Tortilla said, Asante Samuel. I forgot about him. He's still out there rehabbing from injury, waiting to sign with the team too. I would be okay with giving him a shot. He doesn't, move the needle like Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, no, Asante. I'd take him. Sticky says this is our YOLO year. We either win big or get a high draft pick for next year. It's gonna be Mike. This season's gonna be a lot of fun. Where first we kind of build it as it's gonna be that in between season. Who knows what's gonna happen? We might win games. We might not win games. But as things move on, we're becoming a better football team, and it's starting to make me think maybe it's not too crazy to start thinking playoffs. Maybe, Mike. But
we made it the past 2 years. You should be thinking playoffs. That should be the minimum now.
As you said, Tortilla said Amari Cooper and Asante. I'd take Asante Samuel in a minute. I would take him in a minute. Johnson's a wide receiver who can quickly get open and get yak and combat CB. Whoever can cover wide receivers right off the line of scrimmage. The names don't matter to me. Vegas says Detroit is so bad they had Barry freaking Sanders and Megatron retire early. I know. What a shame.
Right. Yeah, how shitty of an organization do you have to be to force two of the all-time greats to retire
Yeah, I
early?
know.
And then
And
they
they would.
trade away. Then they trade away Matt Stafford, and now they're a Matt Stafford away from winning the Super Bowl. That's just
Yeah.
the best part ever.
Stafford goes and he wins a Super Bowl. It was the next year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
For the Rams, a team that doesn't. I mean, this isn't
Yeah.
generally a great team. Come
Yeah.
on. Tortilla says he signed Rasul Douglas to his DB.
he would be a good pickup too.
Sean says GB didn't want to be in Pittsburgh. He was tired of all the subpar QB play and used an immature way to leave. That was obvious. Jamal, let's see. Sticky says Amari Cooper will be a good. I would like to give me some of that Amari Cooper right now. Right now, I think is the perfect time for him in our offense. What we're doing, I think he excels. I just do. I like it, man. Joe, I still think the Saints are in denial with the team right now. They'll trade Olave to the Steelers. I think if we don't get Ramsey, Asante Samuel is an option, which is probably going to be this. I mean, that may make even more sense because I know that these teams in Los Angeles got the inside track on Ramsey, and probably because they're in LA. I don't.
And that's where he really wants to go back
Right.
out west too.
Vegas says I'm shocked. Jerry Rice Cakes and Leon Sanchez are still
A
available.
deep cut on there on that Madden. I like it.
And Tortilla says, "Fuck it, sign Stephon Gilmore and Keenan Allen."
Didn't someone take a flyer in Gilmore this year? I can't remember.
I think so.
I think he signed somewhere.
Yeah. Why does that sound familiar? I could be wrong. Don't go by me. I don't know, Mike. But with all that being said, and the mention of Madden, before we get back into it, Mike, do you want to know where your Steelers landed on this year's Madden team ratings?
Oh yeah, I love me some fake outrage, baby. Let's
Here
go.
we go. Mike, this is the Madden team ratings. Initially for the game Madden 26 that comes out this fall. The Chiefs are number 1 overall. Surprise, surprise, with a 92. San Francisco tied with 92 overall. The Ravens, the Browns, and the Bengals all land before the Steelers, Mike, in the overall team ratings on Madden. The Bengals land at, let's see, 3, 4, 5. The Bengals and Browns are 7 and 8. The Ravens are number 3. And the Steelers are the 11th best team on Madden this year. So if you pay attention to those kind of things or you care, Steelers, the 11th best team, like with an 86, just ahead of the Buffalo Bills.
I guarantee you these ratings are going to change by the time the game's released.
And you want me to give you another argument why it might change? The Eagles are only 1 ahead of us with an 87.
Yeah, that's got to change.
So
that's wild.
And I'm looking at 2 different sources, Mike. These are both the identical, and it's Madden 2016 ratings. Again, Kansas City, San Francisco with 92 sitting at the top. The Ravens at number 3, technically 2, with a 91. The Dolphins are up there, Mike. The Lions, the Cowboys, the Bengals, the Browns. Again, we are number 11. And that is the team ratings for Madden 26.
Tortilla, I think it might have been before the Rodgers signing. Because I think these were like leaked, and I don't know if they're 100% right. That just does not sound right at all for some of these teams.
Yeah. So keep your eye open. I mean, if it changes, it's going to change. It sounds to me like it's going to change. Why would Buffalo be behind us?
And you know what I do? I go in there and I edit my roster and I jack my guys' ratings up. And if I hate them, I jack their ratings down.
Sounds like you.
I do too. So one year I was so pissed at Cam, I made him like a 75 and cut his ass. Petty on a video game, baby.
Tortilla also says before Rodgers signed on the roster or after, I saw in Madden 26 trailer they had Mason Rudolph as our QB1. Vegas says that's not bad. These both I just got yesterday, so maybe this is something that just came out. I don't know.
Yeah,
but they're the identical, so that's the only reason I thought, okay, well maybe this is what the team rankings look like. But again, we will find out. Madden will be out before you know it. Let's get back into this, Mike. The Steelers. Arthur Smith, whose dad passed away earlier in the week. Of course, the owner and founder of FedEx, his son, Arthur Smith, our offensive coordinator, Mike, says Kenneth Gainwell is not just a running back. He's definitely catching our attention. Mike, is this an even better sign that our top 3 running backs are all looking pretty good?
Yeah, that's a good signing. And I can't see how they're going to roll Gainwell into the offense. get him the ball as much as you can. Yeah, there's only one football to spread around, but these are good problems to have. Like Gainwell to come in to after you get beaten down by Jalen Warren, after you've been trying to follow the cuts of Caleb Johnson, and then you get Gainwell in there who can fly around. I like how we're using the potentially could use this offense. I think Gainwell too on special teams is going to be a game changer too.
He's nice, as Vegas just said on the board. Gainwell is nice. Again, he's coming from a winning organization, along with Slay opposite side of the ball. So you get a couple of these guys that just been successful. Hopefully that is contagious. So, Mike, I mean, we're the changes that were made this offseason were things that did need to be done on this Pittsburgh Steelers team, which leads me to the next question. Let's say they go in as is. This is your team right here. No more moves are going to be made by camp. No more moves are going to be made by September for regular season. If they went into the season right now, Mike, which would you say, and everybody on the board, what do you think, guys? What position would the Steelers regret not filling? Who would you think? I think the wide receiver position is still the biggest position in the room. This is something we've been talking about for years. We haven't had two strong wide receivers at the same time for quite some time. What do you guys think? What position, if we went in right now, would you regret not strengthening? Out of all the positions, what do you think, Mike?
I'm going to go with cornerback. I know, like you said, a lot of people are going to say wide receiver. I'm hopeful for the continued growth and development of Calvin Austin, and I'm expecting some good things out of Roman Wilson this year. But for me, someone else who can play outside corner outside of Joey Porter and Darius Slay. Like, yeah, I know we have Corey Church, but he's been,
right,
injury prone up and down. That Nichols position to that slot spot, can Eccles be the guy? It can be Bishop be the guy. I think there's a lot of uncertainty at cornerback.
We get some suggestions on the board, like the wide receiver 2, swing tackle. Let's see, fullback. Yinzer Joe says,
"Bring back Dan Kreider."
Two running back sets. It's possible, John. I mean, if the backfield is going to be as talented as as it's looking,
yeah,
you get a Caleb Johnson who comes and really wants to prove himself as a rookie. Yeah, I mean, people have nothing but good things to say. I think that Jalen Warren is going to be the X factor in the group of running backs. Mike, he has to continue to do what he did and some. He got to be the guy that gets the 100 yards. He's got to be the Najee basically in the backfield of backfield that he's been involved with for the past 3 seasons. So if he can carry that over and become the Najee, be the guy that gets the 100-yard games while the rookie overachieves, and then also Gainwell, Mike, you got to say that this offense may do some things that are uncharacteristic with all this talent coming out of the backfield.
Yeah, and there's plenty of options that you can choose from. It's just are we going to see something stupid? Like, are we going to see Ben Skoranek be targeted when we need a big third down? Or are we going to see Connor Hayward targeted when we need a big conversion? That's the one thing I worry about, because we kind of saw that last year. Like, why are we targeting these guys when we have, DK, we have Frymouth? Why aren't we targeting these guys? That's just my only worry with Arthur Smith. Sometimes he likes to get a little too cute and who the primary receiver is going to be on a formation.
Jamal's saying wide receiver 2. He says Calvin Austin the third is too small, which I agree. If we could just get that other guy to fill that void, if we could bring in an Amari Cooper or somebody, I think that Calvin Austin will be more effective as the 3. I'm going to go back a little bit here, guys, because I did miss a couple. Let's see. I'm going to go right here. Vegas says you need to stop jacking, guys. Tortilla says, Bright, I turn wide receivers into punters and trade 7th-round picks for 99 overalls on Madden. He's talking.
Fuck yeah, baby. That's the way to do it.
Also, Tortilla says, hopefully Arthur Smith's dad gives him a play from the heavens that no one could stop this year. And then I'm going to jump back up here. Joe, hope the new running backs can block. Hey, I have no two ways about that. Here's a good question. Mike Sticky B says, why do you think we are all still holding on to Cordell Patterson? We have 3 better running backs ahead of him. I think I think he gets cut this summer.
I do too, because maybe for helping on returns, but you got guys who can return it in Gainwell and Austin. Jalen Warren's return. Scotty Miller is still on the roster. He might be a defensive back who's pretty good at returning kicks on here that we don't know. But yeah, Cordella Patterson, I don't think he makes it out of training camp.
Yeah, I think he's done.
I think he's going to be.
He's just not needed anymore.
No,
And if that's the fact of the matter, the fact of the matter is we brought him in. We kind of just needed that guy, and now we just don't need it right now.
Yeah, he provided some sparks last year, but when after he had that one big fumble, he was just a non-factor. I think it was in the Baltimore game, maybe I can't. Or one of the good regular season games that we lost that where he came in and he was starting to move the ball and totally changed the complexion of the game.
Tortilla says the Steelers will look you in the face and say we regret not signing a wide receiver 2, and then go sign a 6 tight end and act like everything is cool. Kenneth, what's up, my man? Kenneth on the board, always great seeing Kenneth says all Jalen ever needed was more carries. He's going to get them this year, and I'm excited for it. He's got to turn into that guy, and I think he has all the parts to do it. Tortilla says Roman Wilson got to prove to the league. You know what? I expect to see him have a good season too, Mike. For what that's worth, I don't know what that's going to be.
Yeah.
For basically, Roman Wilson in his, we could call it his rookie season, right? That's going to be a big part of this, Mike. Is he going to be a playmaker? Is he going to be somebody beyond the starters that's going to be able to make plays? And a lot of times, those are the guys that they get you an advantage in the game, put you ahead. Vegas says I think Aaron is going to love the slant to DK. I sure hope so, man. I just sure hope so. Yinzer Joe says Warren needs to stay healthy and not fumble. I could see Johnson and Warren splitting by mid-season and them using Gainwell on screenplays. Stickies, Devontae Smith for the Eagles is similar size to Calvin Austin III. No, he's wide receiver 2 for Philly. Maybe Calvin Austin III has a chance.
He's 6 foot and Calvin's 5'9". The weight's about the same. It's just that height difference.
Kenneth says if Patterson doesn't get cut, he's sleeping with somebody. Yeah, right.
He got pictures of somebody with a goat.
Probably Cam. Sticky says, okay, Sticky agrees with Kenneth. He says exactly. Vegas says, I wonder how much Art's inheritance is his pops was balling. Yeah, man. You figure if you're the owner, you're the one that created FedEx, you got mad money, man. Maybe he could take some of his inheritance money and bring in some of these superstars. Just
right.
Why not?
Circumvent the cap, Artie.
That's right. The Yankees would do it. Yinzer Joe. Patterson knows the Smith offense and does kickoffs. If someone goes down, he falls right in. That's been the case. He's kind of just been that. He's been that safety net. And I just don't know if we need the safety net anymore. I don't know. Do we, Mike?
Typically, we go into the game with 3, maybe 4 running backs. Right now, we find Trey Sermon. So your last spot's going to be between Sermon and Cordella Patterson. So take your pick.
John says I can't see the offense spread the ball around to all the areas of the field and get the tight ends involved. The wide receiver 2 isn't the big in Smith's offense, so why think big? Oh, he wants to see. Okay, I got you. I want to see the offense spread around. Okay. Tortilla says Calvin Austin is small, but just like Warren, he plays hard.
CA3.
And then also he follows that up by saying FedEx the ball into the end zone, Arthur. So a lot of good comments today, guys. Kenneth is saying Patterson has shown 0 kickoff and mediocre on running back. Thing about him, and I agree, Kenneth. I agree. I think he should be gone. Not because he's bad. It's just he kind of just, he was a safety net. He was a guy that was able to do all these things, had it come to that, those chances come along, and it worked for what it was. He wasn't great. He was solid. He got it done. He was able to, he picked up a couple conversions out of the backfield. So, it was what it was. I just don't think that we need him anymore moving forward. And if we have to clear that space, I'm for it at this point in the game, Mike.
Yeah, me too. He's 34 years old. Guy's been in the league forever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was just a smart piece at the time.
Yeah, last year I liked it last year. This year, I think we're a whole hell of a lot better where we don't need him.
Mike, PFF, we love him, we hate him. Whatever your feeling is about PFF, something that I've seen over the past couple of days, PFF Mike was talking about Alan Faneca and Pouncey being overrated Of course, a couple of our linemen that helped us go the distance, if you will, for the Steelers. Mike, PFF says that they were a part of a publicity machine in that they were overrated when it came to offensive linemen. Does he really say this about the Hall of Fame, Alan Faneca?
Alan Faneca, who was on the NFL's all like anniversary teams and stuff like that, where people like Ray Lewis are saying like, no, this guy was one of the best offensive linemen I ever won against. Anyone who says Alan Faneca is overrated, I'm not going to listen to you at all, one bit. Dirty, Big Red, Dirty Red, whatever the fuck his nickname was, was a straight baller. He was, you turned on the film and you watched him play, and he was great. Pouncey, I thought was a little overrated, but not to where he was a marketing machine guy. He came in and he was a stud his rookie year. You saw it in the Super Bowl that, that we lost against Green Bay. He was hurt, and that offensive line suffered without him. That outcome of the game could have been different with Marquise Pouncey playing there.
With that being said, Michael, PFF right now is saying the Pittsburgh defensive line is number 1 overall.
Yeah.
So this is the same PFF, guys. This is why I say we love them, we hate them. They're kind of all over the place sometime. So they're saying Alan Faneca and Marquise Pouncey was overrated, but they're calling the Pittsburgh Steelers line right now. I mean, there's teams that got Sexy Dexy. There's teams that got Jalen Carter. There's all these teams out there, Mike, but we, according to PFF, have the number 1 defensive line overall.
This is why, it's some of their advanced stats that they keep I like to use for insight, but for when they start grading players, and to say like Alan Faneca is overrated, to say that we have a better D line than New York is crazy to me. Alan Faneca overrated. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm going to jump in one of the middle of one of these conversations real quick. Right here, 007. Just to run back on this one, he says, "What do you make of the Jalen Ramsey rumors?" We're in the hunt. We're still inquiring. We're still in the talks, but it really feels that one of the 2 LA teams have the inside track. That's what I keep seeing. I want Jalen Ramsey. He is one of my bucket list players at this point. But again, I could really see him going back out on the West Coast into Los Angeles. That's where he's played. That's where he won. If that happens, it wouldn't surprise me. Again, I would love to have Jalen Ramsey part of this defense in this 1-year experiment. Whatever this is that's going on with the Steelers right now, I'm all game. Throw him in there and make our team better. But it just seems that we're having a hard time, keeping up with the Los Angeles teams as far as this race for Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, and I bet part of the calls too, they're talking to Miami. What would it take to give him up? What would you salary retain? And I bet even though they can't talk to him, they can't really talk to his agent. They're finding ways to get out. Hey, what's his temperature on coming to Pittsburgh? With what we have, does he want to play here, or is he dead set going to the West Coast? Because you're not going to.
What about just being a 1-year deal? If he could come here for just 1 year, and then after that, maybe say, all right, then I'll go back out to LA.
They would have to tear up that contract and redo it and all stuff. I think it would blow up salary caps and shit. Yeah. He's signed for the next 3 years, and to cut him next year.
Is he got 3 years left?
Yeah, it's 3 years left, and to cut him next year, I think it's a $39 million cap hit. Yeah, it's a huge dead money hit if you'd only get him. Really, you would cut him after, get him this year, the year after that, and then you would cut him after going into year 3 of that contract. So yeah, I think it's going to be a non-starter for what he wants to do. And why disrupt the team chemistry after you ship someone out for team chemistry? If you don't want someone, who doesn't want to play out east anymore, wants to go back home out west, don't waste your time.
My opinion is this: you're gonna play football, go play football. And if I want to play for a football team, I want to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I'm biased. Don't go by me. Guys, couple more things here. The big story not the big story, but the thing that everyone's talking about, I keep seeing pop up. George Pickens had a football camp that he had committed to here initially in Pittsburgh, and he just backed out. He said that he said he was going to do it still after he got traded.
Yeah.
Like kids and, teaching kids how to play football. Well, he backed out, and he is not. But Mike, your man, Pat Freiermuth,
my man, Patty
decided
Fry,
to step up in his spot after George Pickens told the kids, "F you," basically. I mean, in his own kind of way. because he said he was going to do it. If he would have said he was going to do it after he left, that would be it right there for me.
Yeah.
However, he backs out. He's not there for the kids. Pat Fryermuth steps in, takes the role, but you will be hearing about this retarded nonsense for a day or two.
Oh yeah,
but that's
like if you're going to say you're going to do something, do it.
right.
That's just like, just keep your word. Like, even though you got traded, keep your word that, hey, I'm going to be there. Send the kids off in fashion. Hey, man, thanks for coming out one more time. Thanks for supporting me when I was here on the team. Blah, blah, blah. You do that. But no, goodbye, Patty Fry stepping up. And I think also some other Steelers are probably going to show up as well. So well done by Pat Fry and the other Steelers who show up. I
mean,
like
the guy wasn't even here for his team. I wouldn't imagine him to come back to town for a camp. But I mean, come on.
Come on, dude. Like, get your head out of your ass. These are easy PR wins.
These are kids. They're your fans. I mean, as a kid, you would have loved to meet one of your favorite players. I would guess if you're George Pickens, but I don't know. We'll see. Things change. Mike, I'm going to go through what we have on the messages, and I do have one more thing about the Steelers, and we are going to start wrapping things up shortly here. I'm going to jump on right where Vegas says Patterson had 3 good runs in a row versus the Colts, but hurt his ankle on the 3rd one, and that was it. John's tired of seeing Steelers take retreads. Kenneth, experiment that didn't pay off.
Mm-hmm.
007, we did talk about that. Jamal Patterson is just older, but I'd rather get rid of Hayward before, right? I mean, Patterson's one of them guys between the ears. I don't know if Connor, he knows the little things in the league that I think that you need to know, and some of these veterans bring. Connor, what is he? Has he done anything here?
No.
Connor's accomplished nothing besides being for being Cam Hayward's brother, which he has to try 0 at because biologically he's his brother. So what is he doing here? Tortilla says, I heard somewhere that the league still kicks away from Patterson on kickoff. Danny Smith and Arthur Smith still like him. Hope he gets cut, though, not going to lie.
I'd still kick to him.
Nobody kicks to anybody. Everything's out of the back of the end zone, and I hate that. Let's see. John, this time of the year for objective BS list to stimulate discussions while we wait. That's about it, man.
It's about the truth, bro.
Vegas, that guy at PFF wrote that article who has 2 glass eyes.
Right? Like I said, I'll listen to your argument about Marquise Pouncey, but I will not let anyone disparage the name of Alan Faneca.
Let's see. John, that's exactly it. Folks use PFF when it fits their argument, and they blow it off when it doesn't.
Yeah.
We do it. I do it. Mike does it. That's no two.
Absolutely. But they do have some like good advanced stats in there. But I like the NFL Plus on one of their platforms. They have the same amount of analytics too. They're getting more in depth as well. So hopefully PFF goes by the wayside. But people who don't know football and like to talk about football, they just rattle off PFF rankings like they're golf.
If they don't know football, then that's a tool,
Yeah.
Not a good tool in my opinion, but it is a tool.
There's some good info there, but it's not an overall.
Right. Kenneth says Ramsey would be cap problems for us. Tortilla says would rather have Rasul Douglas for a 1-year vet minimum. Sorry. John says an indicator that the Steelers are close is when when stud free agents want to come so bad they take a pay cut for a ring. Vegas says they can open another $30 million with 4 reconstructors. Though if they really want to sign, they can make things happen. No 2 ways about it. And I hope they do. I want to see a couple more pieces. Then I'll be excited. I'm excited, but I want to be even more excited. Kenneth says, I'm going to borrow a few grand from you guys and be sure I'm a man of my word, unlike Pickens.
Uh-huh.
John says GP sued Georgia for he definitely didn't learn anything.
He should.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. He should sue. Okay. And then also, I mean, what are they doing with these kids? Look at Broderick Jones. Look at George Pickens.
Hey, man, they're just use them to win championships and send them on their way, baby.
Vegas, that would be a great tradition where regular folks like Mike do the opening kickoffs. Mike?
I'm going to blow out a hammy.
I seen Mike get injured going reverse in his car one day. Did I ever tell you that? Did I ever?
Every
Have I ever
week.
mentioned this?
No, I would blow out a hammy so fast.
John, he says, I should say. That's what we figured. My dog bothering him and not a type. And then Sticky says, what is more likely, free agent wide receiver signing or a trade for a wide receiver too? I think they're both likely. If something's going to happen, if we want to go out and get a wide receiver too, I think either option is likely.
I'm gonna say a free agent signing. It's probably going to be after training camp's over.
One more thing, guys. If you are a fan of Terry Bradshaw, like a lot of people are, he will be tomorrow. He'll be at a bottle signing, guys. For I guess he has wine. He makes he has all kind of shit. I was at the grocery store. I seen he had burger patties as well. But he's going to be signing wine bottles in Homestead at the East Waterfront Drive. That's tomorrow, guys. If you want to see the legend Terry Bradshaw and get an autograph on your wine bottle, in the picture I see he's holding, I think it's his wine. But that's tomorrow, guys. Get out there. That's at Fine Wine and Good Spirits Premium Collection at 330 East Waterfront Drive, Homestead, PA 15120. You can have a chance to meet Terry Bradshaw tomorrow and have him sign your wine.
Will he sign my piece of bark that I bring?
Aaron Rodgers will sign your bark.
I just want to know if he will.
Yeah.
I want TB.
Yeah. Go and take your bark.
I'll take it to TB.
Let's see. AB leaps, kicks a man in the face. He said, "I was named after him. Get out." That was one of my favorites. That was such a great play, wasn't it? It was a punt return, wasn't it, Mike? And when AB kicked that dude in the head.
Yeah.
He just was busting through.
And see, there were signs there all along about AB.
Mike, I had a picture, and I was going to send it over to you today. I literally have it here on my notes, but I don't know if anybody's seen it. It was a picture of T.J. Watt and Antonio Brown on the same Central, Eastern, Western Michigan team, whatever they were, briefly while J.J. Watt was there. A picture of J.J. and Antonio. And Antonio Brown had his bottom teeth were gold, and he was mean mugging in the picture. Like, he might have just been nuts the whole time. I mean, you know, this is his college picture. He's looking nice, and he's got these gold fronts in, and he's like, I don't know. I was gonna maybe I'll send it tomorrow if I think of it.
He was a nut. There's like, you just Google him and like stories from back in college and how like that's why he went to Eastern Michigan or Western Michigan. Yeah. Like he
was a Western.
He was a nut. He couldn't hack it at the highest level.
Boy, did the guy make plays after he caught a football. Holy shit.
Dude, man, his body control on the sideline, get the fuck out of here.
Vegas says he was hilarious in the Family Feud. I missed that. I'd like to see that. John show their cards with their behavior, not words. The next signing or lack thereof will tell us how they feel about the team's chances this year. I want to see more. I want to see more, Mike. I'm craving more. Mike, why don't you do me a big favor and crave the website?
The 2dumbyinzers.com. If you're new here, definitely check it out. All of Ryan and I's social media links over there. We got the merch store. We got the dumb thoughts. Check it out at the2dumbyinzers.com, where you can buy this shirt, Ryan's favorite catchphrase. Listen.
I don't even say that.
Where's Finch when I need him with the soundbite?
Yeah, I know. Mike, today's question. Put on your thinking cap. Everybody at home, everybody on the board. Here we go. This is the question of the day. This is an Aaron Rodgers, Pittsburgh Steelers trivia. Aaron Rodgers, Pittsburgh Steelers trivia. Here we go. Mike, thinking cap. Everybody, question of the day. Here we go. How many touchdowns did Aaron Rodgers throw in his only Super Bowl appearance? Of course, everyone knows Aaron Rodgers' only Super Bowl appearance was against our Pittsburgh Steelers. The question of the day, guys, how many touchdowns did Aaron Rodgers throw in his only Super Bowl appearance? Super Bowl 45 in Dallas. Take a minute to think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube. Let me grab a couple of these messages while you're thinking. Mike Sticky B says, have to give Tomlin credit. He knows when to cut bait on wideouts Turning Claypool into JPJ is still the biggest fleece in recent memory. You're right, my man. And then John says money can't fix batshit nuts.
No, it cannot.
We're learning that the hard way, huh? And then Vegas's Green Bay defense won that game. You know what? At all costs, I try to forget that game entirely. Question of the day, guys. How many touchdowns did Aaron Rodgers throw for in that game? We're talking about Super Bowl 45, the 31-25 win over the Steelers. How many touchdowns did Aaron Rodgers throw in that game, Mike? Any ideas?
I'm going to go with 4.
All right, 4 touchdowns. Is this your final answer?
Final answer.
All right, I'm going to lock Mike in place. Mike, you said 4. Again, the question of the day, how many touchdowns did Aaron Rodgers throw in his Super Bowl appearance against the Steelers, guys? Mike says 4. I'll give him just a few more moments on the board in case anybody wants to throw up their guesses, or maybe they even know it. Throw it up on the board. Vegas says both Super Bowl losses, 0-3 turnover differential, and the third wide receiver got hurt. Sticky B says Mendenhall fumbles still. Yeah, me too. Me too. Guys, question of the day. How many touchdowns did Aaron Rodgers throw in his only Super Bowl appearance? Mike, you said 4. Guys, the answer to the question is very close, Mike. 3. He threw 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl against the Steelers. I'd like to get that Aaron Rodgers.
Right? Only thing my lasting memory of that Super Bowl is Troy Polamalu getting burnt by their tight end, and after every play doing this, and me going, pray harder because you can't cover for shit, and everyone walking out of my Super Bowl party. That game ruined me.
See, I don't remember any of that. I
remember Troy getting burnt over and over and over again.
Wasn't it tight ends? Wasn't the
tight ends?
Yeah.
Tight ends. For 40 fucking years, we can't cover a goddamn tight end, and one of the best safeties of all times got exposed that game.
I don't know. Like I said, I remember a few things. It's definitely not Troy Polamalu. I remember a late turnover by us. I remember a ball being thrown to Mike Wallace that was intercepted.
Yeah.
I remember Mendenhall fumbling the ball.
Yeah.
Everything that I remember is just bad offense, I think. I don't remember much about the defense. I think A.J. Hawk or one of them white guys they had got an interception. I said, I tried to everything that I have in me, I try to not remember that Green Bay Packer Super Bowl, Mike, but the answer, of course, is 3. He threw 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl against the Steelers. Vegas says I cheated and asked Alexa. And Alexa gave you too much information, and that's how we knew. John says I don't remember and won't Google it. I guess yes, 3 was the correct answer, John. So that is the question of the day. Aaron Rodgers, I hope he brings that energy for us in the playoffs. I'd like to see, because we don't have Polamalu to miss tackles, as Mike was saying. We don't have Mendenhall to fumble the ball away or all those other things. But if we could get a little bit of that Aaron Rodgers luck again, Mike, if he plays that role, the NFL loves shit like this. Yeah. They love shit like this. They love the guy that could ride off into the sunset. They love, again, if games could be manipulated, which some believe that they have been since Vegas and the NFL jumped into bed, this could also play to advantage. I don't want to win that way, but let's just say that this is the way the teams are winning now. By all means, we'll take some. Right?
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Everybody else getting these wins and not us, so we'll take it. Whatever way it comes, we'll take it.
I will take it. Lie, cheat, steal, baby.
Like
we're going to Eddie Guerrero. Baby.
Eddie Guerrero. I was trying to think of that guy's name.
I almost said Gordy Guerrero. Jesus Christ.
Dirty Dom. Vegas said missed block by the LG, got Ben's arm. By the left guard, got Ben's arm hit, which ended up in an interception to the. Yeah, that's right. Now it's all coming back to me, unfortunately. John says the Steelers D players think the middle of the field is contaminated with radiation. It has been Chernobyl for decades.
It has been.
It's gross. I don't get it, man.
How many times I called the great Dick LeBeau, because he would always blow the game by leaving the middle of the field open.
Oh, I thought you just did that for Pride Month. My bad.
No, I do that for every month for Dick LeBeau.
Sticky B says they love Bettis riding in. Exactly. Bettis, Ray Lewis, Tom Brady. these kind of things, are they all coincidence? Do those teams just get good enough to win a Super Bowl just those particular seasons and no other seasons ever? Teams that aren't generally ever winning a Super Bowl?
Like Peyton Manning, the shell of his former self.
In Denver?
Yeah. Where their defense was allowed to just late hit Cam Newton every single play, no foul called. Yeah.
Vegas says, I'll call the guy I know that knows a guy for us again. Kenneth says, funny how Tallman is great on wideout recruitment and releases, but horrible on challenges. Right. And Vegas says June is Men's Health Month too. Another thing I know nothing about. And then John says, if I get a whiff of that NFL is going the way and fixing games, I am done. And I hope it's not. But again, if it is, I give us a little bit of play. Come on. Mike, anything before we do start getting ready to wrap up, my man?
No, I got nothing. I had that one stat about the Steelers being in the top 5 for most wins in the past 25 years. That was my little extra. I got nothing now.
Sticky says Manning couldn't even turn his head. His neck was fused in one position in Denver, and they still won. I know. It's like I said, if the league wants it, it's going to happen. I don't support that. Believe me, I don't. I want to see it done the right way. But if this is the way that's going, I don't want to be left out either, and everybody else continues to win. Yeah. So that be that, guys. Mike, as I was saying, we are going to be hitting vacation, our summer vacation here at the Two Dumb Yinzers. After Friday, I'm sorry, today is only hump day, but after Friday's show concludes, we will be heading into our 1-week vacation, and we will be back on July 7th, which is the Monday following the 4th of July weekend. I do want to make that known. I also do want to say, do you have what it takes to be a dumb Yinzer? If you do, after we do come back from our vacation, we will be putting together maybe a challenge, maybe a competition, if you will. I don't know. Get some people that are interested that want to be a part of the Two Dumb Yinzers. We are on 5 days a week, but again, like Derpy and Finch, we don't press too hard. If you're interested and you want to do it, again, we are going to put something out there, and people can participate to try to be in the box right below Mike. Again, that is a hard box to hold on your shoulders, but we will be doing that. So keep that in mind. If you're interested, think it over. If you have the time of day, if you're here anyway, hey, let's give it a shot. It might be a lot of fun. So that will be after we come back from our vacation, guys. So we will be looking for another wheel on the Two Dumb Yinzer Mobile, guys. So keep that in mind. Also, Mike, I do want to say, what else do I want to say?
I don't know. What do you want to say?
I do want to say thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. I do want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys are amazing, as always, and always keep the show interesting here. I do want to say thank you to you as well, and everybody that's home just listening, maybe in the car, maybe in the gym, maybe taking a walk, maybe watching on your big screen right in your living room, whatever the case may be. I want to thank you as well for coming to hang out with us. On this hump day, Mike, it's a hot hump day. It's going to be a little cooler in the last couple of days. 89 degrees is only supposed to be the high. Any big plans for the day?
Going to take the kid out to the trampoline and let him play with water balloons. Hey. That's my big plans for the day.
I like it. Jen, thank you. We'll be back in the next couple of days. So, I mean, we're not going just yet, but I want to throw it out there in a little bit in advance. John Ryan is going on a Girls Gone Wild. I wish. And when did hot chick lesbian become uncool? Remember when the hot chicks on the Girls Gone Wild videos, they're always kissing each other in their bikinis? It's not popular anymore. I'm always looking for hot chicks that are I don't know. Is that weird?
Are you just telling everyone your Pornhub search history?
I'm just saying, it used to be a thing. Now people don't think twice. Everybody's gay, and everybody gets a day, and everybody has a month, and everyone's wearing this, and everybody. Mike, I miss hot lesbian kissing. I don't know. It's just me.
It's still there. Still there. You can find it.
Yeah.
I'll help you. I'll help you find it.
I liked it when it was a what's the word I'm looking
taboo?
For? No, not taboo. Taboo. Is that even how you say taboo?
Taboo.
Yeah.
Fuck if I know.
Forbidden. I liked it when it was forbidden.
There you go.
But now everybody's gay.
Same thing as taboo.
The taboo, yeah.
Say it was the same word.
I mean, now I could go to the grocery store and I could see two girls kissing. I mean, back then it was exciting and fun and taboo, if you will. But there you go. Yes, maybe, John, maybe I will be going on my Girls Gone Wild cruise. Vegas, likewise to you, my friend. I also do want to say thank you to my friend Lonnie. I don't know if you still are on the board, but he was a lifelong friend of mine. He did pop up on the board early. It was great to see him. It's been quite a few years. It was a surprise, so thank you as well. And Jen says it was a fad. The girls kissing was a fad, which is a bummer to me. I liked it. I don't know. That was just me, though. Mike, anything else before we do wrap?
No, I got nothing. Although I am content to sit here and watch you talk about your Pornhub history all day.
Maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
Maybe as we near the weekend, guys. Don't forget though, today in just a little over an hour, a little less than an hour, 2:10. Paul Skeens on the hill against the Brewers. Paul Skeens with his 4-6 record come on the hill to take on the Brewers. Last game on the road before they come home to play the Mets for the weekend. Pirates 32-49 heading into this game. It's a rubber match. They win the series. They lose the series. So we'll see what Paul Skeens and the Pittsburgh Pirates can do today if their 2-10 start. Besides for that, everybody, let me get a couple of these. I don't want to miss anybody before we leave. Sticky says, now one of the girls looks like a dude, so that kind of ruins it. Yeah. Jamal, there's my man. He says, "Girls Gone Wild turned into Everyone's Gone Nut." Yeah, you ain't kidding. But I do thank you, Lonnie, as well, my man. You know that. Guys, again, Buccos, not much else going on today as far as our Pittsburgh sports. We will be back tomorrow at our regular time to do it all over again. We'll dig up as much as we can about our Steelers, see what's going on. It's been a pretty uneventful week, but we will dig, we'll scrape everything, Mike, so we can find the latest up-to-date Steelers scoop for you, as long as all these other sports and stuff. And then hanging into the weekend, Mike, they do have a lot going on as well with our soccer, with our girls football. I am super pumped up about the Passion playoff game this weekend. We'll get into all that as the week does move along, everybody. I do want to say thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. Mike, also, guys, if you haven't yet, hit the like, subscribe, and share button. That helps us out a lot. And also, you can check out our social media at Facebook, X, Instagram, Threads, anywhere that you go on social media, we have presence there. So do check all those things out. Jen, you wouldn't even know the beginning. If Lonnie would be nice enough to come back and tell us some stories, she says, Lonnie, come and tell us some stories about Ryan. I think it might just change. It might just change the whole perception of Ryan. But anyway, maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday, whenever. If you do have a chance, Lonnie, it would be a great time having you on. I think that it could be very, very interesting and entertaining on this show. Love you too, my man. For sure, bro. For sure. Guys, again, hit us up, hit like, all those fine things. They help us out. For Mike, for myself, the two dumb Yinzers, everybody have a great